What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Headwaters channel. Today I've got a very special guest. You guys might recognize the boat behind me. If not, you'll definitely recognize this face. Jameson Redding, just so happened to be in Redding. We're going to be checking out his Knarr FD today. He helped design this boat, bring it to life. He's a brand manager for Jackson Kayaks. And we got Jeff Little here as well. And every one of these boats has a torpedo on it. So we're going to do a quick walkthrough, and then next we're going to go hit the river, take these boats out, and give them a test drive. Let's get into it. So Jameson, you had your hand in helping design the Knarr FD. What can you tell me about this boat? You can just start at the front. I want to hear kind of the whole design premise, as well as I see you've got bow mount and stern mount motor options.
Yeah. So
talk me through it.
The big things with the Knarr was it was a team effort, right? So we put together a group of guys and gals on the team that fish big open water, whether they're tournament fishing big lakes, open lakes, or they're offshore anglers that are going through the breakers and wanted to have a pedal drive option. So we wanted the whole shape first and foremost to be able to handle if the waves kick up, if the wind picks up, and you got chop on the water, that you be safe and feel confident in your boats. We started out with wanting to have a bow mount. A lot of anglers now are putting bow mount, like spot locks or motor guides, whatever, on the bow. So we made a flat place up here, and I actually have a plate here for the motor guide on mine, and I was doing some testing with it, and I wired up the plug on mine as well, so I can quickly do a, drop it onto that quick release plate and be ready to go. But given that flat area up front allowed some companies to make adapters, but also you can just bolt it right onto the plastic there. Large bow hatch, and this was kind of redesigned. We made it really tall here so that it would be really hard for water to come up and over into the boat. So it's a very dry hole on the boat. You can see I've had it in the water several days now, and it's dry as a bone in there. There's not a drop of water in it, so that helps a whole lot. And there's a gasket around the top rim as well that keeps it nice and tight. Plus the water can channel away when it does, so it's not sitting there around that hatch. You also have a nice storage area here, and this is where your Cincos go. Just kidding. That's where your transducer scupper is, and it comes with a couple of Yak Attack pass-throughs. You can put those where you want. We don't install them from the factory, but it allows you to kind of have the ability to add those or put them where you want. But this area will also fit a 24 group battery. So if you're running a motor off the stern and you need a big battery, you can offset that weight. And we also have a place in the stern, I'll show you, where you can put a battery if you are running that motor guide or Minn Kota off the bow. It has the new Mark IV flex drive. This one's a couple years old now. I've had no issues with it. It's a belt driven system now. So it uses a Gates belt. The gears that are in here are in a oil bath, and it's sealed, so there's no maintenance really, other than if you're a saltwater angler, you might want to rinse it and clean it every once in a while. Other than that, you don't have to worry about adding oil. You don't have to worry about tensioning or tightening the belt. It's really smooth, it's quick, 12-to-1 gear ratio, 14-inch pitch prop. And
check this out, you guys. This is, I'm sure many of you are familiar with it, but the whole idea with the Jacksons, this thing can drop down, be in the middle, or it can actually come all the way up out of the way if you're in shallow water. Like today, we're gonna be out here on the river, and there's spots we can pedal, and there's spots that we're gonna have to either motor or paddle, and so you can get this thing just right out of the way.
And if you hit something too, it'll automatically kick up into the hull of the boat, be completely tucked in and protected, so you're not gonna worry about breaking your prop or anything. You can loosen the thumb screws on either side, adjust for your leg length. You can also move this seat high and low. It's just a lift, one hand kind of operation in the front, and it'll slide down. Go back to the high. Tri-track is standard on the boat, so that's kind of our new proprietary track system. We did partner with Yak Attack to offer their top loading geometry, so you can actually you don't have to have a slot or go in from the end anywhere. You can actually just drop any of those accessories in anywhere on the track, and it's 3-sided, so it allows you to really get creative with where you mount things and how you mount things on the boat. It's up pretty far on those locking loads. Yep.
All the way through the cockpit, all the way through the back, and I actually see how you can have it on here on the top, and then over here you've got some stuff that's mounted to the side.
Yeah.
So impressive.
It just allows you to put a lot of things in the same area. So for example, right here I've got my throttle mount. I've also got my paddle rod holder here, the double header, and then this is going to come on the boat. These are basically where you would store your rod butts, utilizing those rod tubes. These are adjustable up and down and can be mounted in various different ways on the boat. They do come standard with it, but that allows you to move those around where you want them. On my Take 2, I actually have them mounted on the top of the track this way, so I can have my rod staged down kind of on the deck of the boat on that boat. So it's comes with this boat. It's available as an accessory as well, though.
I see you've got landing gear on this one as well. And then the Yak Attack cart, this guy's got options.
Yeah, so the landing gear, actually this was the test from Boondocks. They hooked it up with this one with a plate that mounts it so that you get multiple points of contact. It's mounted to the track on each side using their track mounted bases. And then there's an adapter plate that also allows you to tie into the piece of tri-track that goes across the tank wheel.
Nice.
So it just gives you plenty of strength. I've been testing it for a while with their landing gear on here, and I have had zero issues. So I'm pretty sure that is actually out and available now, that we've put it through the ringer and had no problems. We also have the Yak Attack cart under here as well.
Yeah, that just so happened to be over here, so I grabbed it.
Yeah, so I don't even think I brought the wheels with me, to be honest with you, because I was afraid I would leave them somewhere. So. As we move back to the back, underneath this area, you'll see this black plate. That is a scupper, but it is designed to fit the Tsunami like bait tank pump or bilge pump. So if you guys remember the old Kraken, we had that where you could, plumb up a bait tank, especially if you're going to be offshore fishing with live bait and that kind of thing. So you can take advantage of that, and it keeps the pump tucked into the boat, and that way you don't have to worry about priming anything, because that pump's going to be at the water line and it can suck water up into your bait tank. I wired it up here so I can drop that 24 group battery. I had a Dakota Lithium 100 amp hour, or the 135 is even smaller than that now, but the 100 will fit right in there, sit completely in. You can close the lid. So my breaker and my wiring was in there for when I was running the bow mount motor. Now I've got it rigged up with a torpedo on the back, and we also provide some geometry here and in the front where the foot control steering is, so that it's easy to know where to run those tubes to add that steering and whatnot. And then utilizing the tri-track, I've got my raise and lower cable and my reverse lock cable ran through the tri-track itself, so it just manages all that line really well. Of course, you got your rudder. It's removable. If you ever damage it, it's easy to replace. It's just a pin you pull and you can drop that rudder and replace it. Very durable though. I actually drag mine on it all the time. I've had no issues.
Yeah, just watch you unload this thing. Like, just drag it.
Just cinder.
And then this is one thing worth pointing out too that I was stoked you guys did, is steering on both sides. You got left and right hand control steering,
yep.
Which was very, very cool. And then lastly, talk about this motor. Jeff, you want to talk about it since you're here?
Well, I got to rig this for the first time last summer up at Frontenac Outfitters in Ottawa, and I was really pleased with the hull design, because this is the fastest Torqeedo motorized pedal drive. We get about 6.7. That top end speed is a great thing, but it's also a marker for how efficient you are with the power you give it at any speed. So it motors up real well. I think for truly a big water boat, one where you're going to be out, in bigger waves, where you don't want the nose of the boat spearing in and all of that washing in around you, it really is a wave piercing bow. More than that, at the back, it just releases the water super cleanly. That's where you get most of your speed is in how well, from the seat back, releases water. And it's sort of deceptive when you see an efficient boat. It doesn't throw a big rooster tail. It doesn't look powerful. The ones that kind of have a right angle and throw a big rooster tail, that's a sign of inefficiency. That's wasted energy back there. This one, it just moved. If you're interested in motoring up, you can check out that installation video at the Little Stuff YouTube channel. Go to the playlist and then go to Torqeedo Ultralight Speed and Range and Installs, and that's a playlist that'll have this install video and a whole bunch of others.
Nice, I appreciate that, man. And we're gonna put him to the test today because we're out on the Sacramento River. We've got Jeff, and he's got his NRS inflatable. I'm gonna be checking out the Coosa X today. I'll give a walkthrough on this on a second video. And we're gonna be motoring upstream on the Sacramento River, which has about 6 knots of current. So these things are gonna have to really boogie if we're gonna get to where we're going. That Knarr looks like it cruises. This is at our final destination. Those guys are coming around the bend here. One of my favorite little fishing spots right off the Sac. It's got good bass fishing. That's what these guys are all about.
On this steeper bank, that's the first one I got to eat.
Nice. Look, good looking fish, man.
Yep.
That was a lot of fun seeing how Jameson fished out of that boat. Definitely a cool craft, unique, and I love how they're constantly looking towards the future of kayak fishing, designing things that are specific for what anglers are doing at any given time. I mean, the sport is evolving so quick, and the Jackson Knarr is definitely taking a lot of these things that anglers are doing into consideration. So if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and I will be happy to answer them for you. And if I can't get the answer, I'll shoot it to Jameson, and I'm sure he'll get back to us right away. All right, guys, until next time, this is Dan wishing you happy paddling. We'll see you on the next one. That Knarr definitely moves on the water.
I wish I had a brand new one for you to review, but what I have is a 2-year-old. I have used it a ton.
It's almost better that way. I'd almost rather have someone that's seen the, you know, instead of like the showroom in the iCast. Everything looks good under showroom lights.